wake up Monday morning, drag yourself out of bed, and stare at your phone. Another week of work ahead? You tell yourself it is worth it because you're making $30 an hour. That sounds pretty good, right? But here is something that is going to make you angry. After taxes, commuting costs, work clothes, that expensive lunch you grab because you're too tired to meal prep, and all the other hidden expenses that come with having a job, you're actually taking home closer to $4 an hour. Yeah, you read that right. $4, the system has been lying to you. And today I'm going to show you exactly how this scam works and what you can do about it. I'm Jason, and I've spent years researching personal finance and digging into the real math behind how money actually works in our lives. I'm obsessed with finding the truth behind the numbers that most people never question. I share strategies and insights that can genuinely change how you think about money, work, and building wealth. If you're interested in breaking free from financial stress and learning what actually works, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Trust me, what I'm about to share with you is something most financial advisors won't tell you. Let me introduce you to a concept I call the true hourly rate. This isn't what your employer tells you you're making. It is what you actually earn after accounting for every single cost associated with your job. Most people never calculate this number, and that is exactly what keeps them trapped in the cycle of working harder but never getting ahead. The true hourly rate takes your actual take-home pay and divides it by the total hours you spend on work, related activities including commuting, preparing for work, decompressing after work, and dealing with work stress. Then it subtracts all the expenses you only have because you work that job. What is left is the real money you're earning for your time. This concept matters because once you see this number, you can make smarter decisions about your career, your side hustles, and how you spend your precious time. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Sarah works as a marketing coordinator making $30 an hour. She works 40 hours a week, so she thinks she is bringing in $48,000 a year. Sounds decent. But let's do the real math first. Taxes take about 25%, dropping her to $36,000. Then there is her commute, 45 minutes, each way, 5 days a week. That is 7.5 hours weekly she is not getting paid for. She spends $300 monthly on gas and car maintenance for commuting. Her job requires professional clothes, so that is another $100 a month. She buys lunch at work 4 times a week at $12 each, totaling about $200 monthly she pays for a gym membership. She barely uses because she is too exhausted after work. Add another $50. And let's not forget the coffee she needs to function. Roughly $80 a month. When you add up these work-related expenses, you get $730 monthly or $8,760 yearly. Subtract that from her $36,000 take-home and she is down to $27,240. Now divide that by the actual hours she dedicates to work. She works 40 hours, commutes 7.5, and spends about 3 hours weekly preparing for work and unwinding from work stress. That is 50.5 hours weekly, or 2,626 hours yearly. Her true hourly rate, just $10.37, not $30. She is making less than what a fast food worker advertises. Now let's compare Sarah to Mike. Mike also makes $30 an hour, but he negotiated a remote position. He works the same 40 hours weekly, but he has zero commute. He wears comfortable clothes from his closet. He eats lunch at home for about $4 a meal. His work-related expenses are minimal, maybe $50 monthly for upgraded internet. After the same 25% tax hit, his $36,000 take-home only loses $600 in work expenses, leaving him with $35,400. He dedicates 42 hours weekly to work, including prep time, totaling 2,184 hours yearly. His true hourly rate $16.21. Same job title, same advertised wage, but Mike is making 56% more per hour of his actual time than Sarah. This is the difference between understanding your true hourly rate and just accepting what your paycheck says. Here is another example that'll really drive this home. Jennifer is a lawyer making $80 an hour, working 50 hours a week. Sounds impressive, right? But she is in a high tax bracket, losing 35% to taxes. She commutes an hour each way daily. She spends $500 monthly on professional attire and dry cleaning. Client dinners and networking events cost her another $400 monthly that she doesn't get fully reimbursed for. Parking downtown is $300 monthly. She needs a therapist to deal with work stress. That is another $200 monthly. Her gym membership to combat sitting all day is another $100. She orders dinner most nights because she gets home at 8 exhausted, adding $600 monthly. That is $2,100 in monthly work, related expenses, or $25,200 yearly. After taxes, her annual take, home from a nominal $208,000, is about $135,200. Subtract her work expenses, and she is at $110,000. She works 50 hours, commutes 10, and spends about 5 hours weekly on work prep and recovery. That is 65 hours weekly, or 3,380 hours yearly. Her true hourly rate, $32.54. She is making $80 an hour on paper, but actually earning $32.54 per hour of her life. Meanwhile, her friend Tom runs a small online business from home, makes $60,000 yearly after taxes with minimal expenses, works 35 hours weekly, and has a true hourly rate of $33. Tom is technically wealthier per hour of life spent than Jennifer the lawyer. I know what you're thinking right now. You're probably saying, "But Jason, I need this job to pay my bills. I can't just quit." You're absolutely right. And I'm not telling you to quit tomorrow. What I'm telling you is to open your eyes to the real numbers so you can make better decisions. The point isn't to make you feel hopeless. It is to make you strategic. Once you know your true hourly rate, you can start making changes that actually improve it. Maybe that means negotiating for remote work. Maybe it means moving closer to your job to cut commute time. Maybe it means realizing that a job paying $5 less per hour but with better conditions actually pays you more in real terms. Another objection I hear all the time is, "This seems too complicated to calculate. I don't have time for all this math." Here is the thing. You don't have time not to do this math. You're already spending 50 hours a week on work. Spending 30 minutes to calculate your true hourly rate could reveal that you're essentially working for minimum wage when you thought you were doing well. That 30 minutes could be the most valuable time you spend all year, because it gives you the information you need to change your situation. And honestly, the math isn't that hard. Take your annual take, home pay after taxes. Subtract all expenses you only have because of your job. Divide by the total hours you spend on work, related activities in a year. That is it. 3 steps. Some of you might be thinking, well, everyone has these expenses. So what is the point? The point is that not everyone has the same expenses, and not everyone is aware of how much these costs are eating into their actual earnings. The people who get ahead financially are the ones who ruthlessly track these numbers and make decisions based on reality, not on the fantasy number printed on their job offer letter. When you know your true hourly rate, you can compare job opportunities accurately. You can decide if a side hustle is actually worth your time. You can determine if paying for convenience services actually saves you money when you factor in your real hourly worth. So what do you actually do with this information? Let me give you 5 concrete steps you can take starting today. First, calculate your true hourly rate right now. Sit down tonight with your pay stubs, your bank statements, and a calculator. Write down your take, home pay. List every single expense you have because of your job. Count every hour you spend on work, related activities in a typical week. Do the math. This number is your baseline, your reality check. Second, identify your 3 biggest work-related expenses. For most people, it is commuting, food, and clothing. These are your targets. Can you negotiate remote work even 2 days a week? That immediately cuts your commute costs by 40%. Can you meal prep on Sundays for the week? That could save you $200 monthly. Can you build a work wardrobe of versatile basics instead of constantly buying new clothes? Another 100 saved. Small changes to these three categories can boost your true hourly rate by 20 to 30% without changing jobs. Third, track your time for 1 week like your life depends on it. Write down every minute you spend preparing for work, commuting, working, and recovering from work. Most people drastically underestimate this number. You might think you spend 45 hours weekly on work, but when you actually you discover it is 60. This awareness alone will change how you make decisions. You'll start protecting your non-work time more fiercely. You'll start questioning whether staying late is actually worth it when you see how it tanks your true hourly rate. Fourth, use your true hourly rate to evaluate every financial decision. Should you hire someone to clean your house for $30 an hour? Well, if your true hourly rate is $12, then no, you're better off doing it yourself. But if your true hourly rate is $40, then absolutely yes, and you should use that freed up time to rest or earn more. Should you take that promotion that pays 15% more but adds 10 hours of work weekly? Do the math with your true hourly rate. Often these promotions actually decrease your real hourly earnings while increasing your stress. Fifth, start building income streams that have better ratios. This doesn't mean quit your job and become an entrepreneur tomorrow. It means start small. Can you freelance in your field for clients remotely? Can you create a digital product that earns passive income? Can you invest in dividend-paying stocks that generate money while you sleep? The goal is to gradually shift more of your income towards sources that don't require trading your time for money or that have minimal associated expenses. Even an extra $500 monthly from a side project with a high true hourly rate can dramatically improve your overall financial picture. Here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. The traditional employment system is designed to obscure your true hourly rate. Companies advertise the highest number they can claim, the gross hourly wage, because it sounds impressive and keeps you from asking deeper questions. They don't want you calculating that after taxes, commuting, and work expenses, you're making a fraction of that amount. They don't want you realizing that the person working remotely for slightly less is actually wealthier than you. This isn't a conspiracy. It is just how the system evolved, but you don't have to be a victim of it. When you understand your true hourly rate, everything changes. You stop making decisions based on what sounds good and start making them based on what actually improves your financial reality. You stop feeling guilty about spending money on things that genuinely save you time or improve your well-being because you can calculate whether they're worth it. You stop comparing yourself to people based on their job titles or stated salaries because you know those numbers are mostly fiction. You start comparing based on actual wealth accumulation and quality of life. This isn't about being pessimistic or negative about work. It is about being honest. Some jobs really do pay well when you calculate the true hourly rate. Remote positions, jobs with short commutes, careers that don't require expensive upkeep, and positions that don't bleed into your personal time can offer genuinely good, true hourly rates. The key is knowing the difference and making choices accordingly. The most successful people I know financially aren't necessarily the ones with the most impressive job titles or the highest stated salaries. They're the ones who figured out this math early and structured their lives around maximizing their true hourly rate. They're the ones who negotiated for flexibility instead of just more money. They're the ones who moved closer to work or found remote positions. They're the ones who built side income that doesn't consume their lives. They're the ones who said no to promotions that would have made them busier but not actually wealthier. You have more power than you think. Every decision you make about your career, your location, your expenses, and your time is an opportunity to improve your true hourly rate. Every negotiation, every job change, every lifestyle adjustment is a chance to close the gap between what you think you're making and the system might be designed to keep you in the dark, but now you have the flashlight. Calculate your true hourly rate today. Face the number, even if it is uncomfortable. Then use that knowledge to make one change this week that improves it. Just one. Maybe it is packing lunch instead of buying it. Maybe it is asking your boss about remote work options. Maybe it is finally listing that freelance service you've been thinking about. One change leads to another, and before you know it, you've restructured your entire financial life around reality, instead of illusions. If this opened your eyes to something you've never considered before, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people can discover this truth. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep sharing the financial realities that nobody else wants to talk about. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who is working themselves to exhaustion for a paycheck that is lying to them. Together, we can help more people break free from the work scam and build real wealth based on truth, not fiction. You deserve to know what your time is actually worth. Now you do. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. But I promise you this, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that is when real change begins.